Hi, everybody. It's time for Kids Tuesday, and this is our first one. I'm so excited. Um, we are going to talk about an article. We're going to read an article from one of the Time for Kids editions. But before we do, I just want to talk a little bit about what a magazine or a periodical is. Uh, so, a magazine or a periodical, those are the same thing, are publications that are issued at regular intervals as weekly or monthly. So, for example, Time for Kids comes out every week, and it comes in a paper copy that can be sent to the school or to your home. You have to pay for it, so there's a subscription for it. Uh, Interestingly enough, though, right now during this COVID-19 business, we get Time for Kids for free. And I subscribed for our class so that we could read the articles digitally. So magazines can be found all over the grocery store. You can pick them up and kind of thumb through them, look through the pictures, read the articles. And these are no different, except that I think that a lot of these kid magazines have to be subscribed, like I said before, and purchased. Um, but they offer a digital version as well, kind of like newspapers are offered like that as well. So let me show you a couple of examples. Here are some various magazines or periodicals for kids. Like if you are a runner, there's an actual magazine that's specifically tailored for people who run. Here's a Sports Illustrated for kids, so all kinds of sports. It's all about sports. A gamer magazine. If you're a gamer and you want to learn more about how to play certain games, you can subscribe to that. Here's Dig, which is about history, and Owl. There's other ones like Ranger Rick, and that one's for free right now. So you might talk to your parents about getting permission to subscribe to that as well. Again, digital copies are kind of the way to go, honestly. That way you don't have them laying around your house all the time, and you can always just go to your digital library to find them. Uh, and so I've dedicated Tuesdays to look at Time for Kids. And before we actually read the article that I have picked out for us today, I want us to kind of browse through the magazine, the entire magazine first. And it won't take very long. It's not very long of a magazine, it's not very thick. So, the title of this whole magazine, the magazine itself is called Time for Kids. The title of this issue is called Counting Penguins. So, that's the cover story, and it's an Earth Day special issue. And Earth Day was April 22nd, which was last week. And Earth Day is just a day set aside for us to recognize ways that we can be respectful to our earth and take care of our earth. A lot of you guys talked about it last week during one of our meetings about how it's important to pick up the trash, things like that. And sometimes magazines will highlight certain aspects of the earth. And in this particular edition, they've chosen to talk about the penguins that live in Antarctica. So on the cover, you'll see it says researchers arrive at an island in Antarctica where they will count chinstrap penguins. So we're going to read about that particular article today. Like I said, let's go ahead and browse through the entire magazine real quick, and so that you can see some of the features. So every magazine is going to have a table of contents. Sometimes the tables of contents are located in different locations, but this one is right here in the very back, in the very first page, and you'll go to whatever story you're interested in, and you'll go straight to that page to read. Magazines and periodicals will often have charts, graphs, just like any nonfiction book that you might read would have. And this one's pretty interesting because it shows like the different sizes of various species of penguins, which is pretty interesting. Here's the article that we will read in a few moments. So it's not very long. It's not going to take very long. It's just one page. There's some really wonderful photographs. And within those photographs, you'll notice some captions here. You'll notice highlighted words that even in this particular article has a glossary for you. And we're going to even go over some of those words for you today. But then other articles that might be interesting to you. This is a debate article that asks for an opinion, and you can give an opinion about a specific topic. And this is basically how a Time for Kids magazine goes. They have these different types of sections for each of their editions, for each of their editions. Sorry. All right, so we're going to go on over to the actual article, and rather than me read it, the nice thing about this particular magazine is that this article itself has someone who's already recorded themselves reading it to us. So I'm going to let him do it. He does a better job than I do anyway. But I'm going to let him read, and then I'm going to use the tools to get the can't think of the word, to make it bigger so that we can see it better. All right.
Penguin Census, Snow Island, Antarctica. Click, 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 click. Steve Forrest is a biologist. He's standing at the top of a cliff. It's on an island off the coast of the Antarctic Peninsula. Below him are several hundred penguins and their chicks. Forrest's job is to count every one of them with the metal clicker in his hand. It's not easy. It's snowing, the wind is howling, and the fluffy gray chicks won't stay still. Forrest has been coming to Antarctica every January for 6 years. He's helping count the area's chinstrap penguins. It's part of a global penguin census. This will help researchers better understand the Antarctic environment. Ocean life. There used to be lots of chinstraps in Antarctica, but their numbers are declining. Why? All the evidence we have points to climate change being responsible. Heather J. Lynch says. She designed the survey. Census team member Noah Stryker adds, "We know climate change is hitting the Antarctic Peninsula harder than practically anywhere else in the world." Scientists suspect that warming waters affect krill, the tiny creatures that chinstraps eat. This is bad for the ocean food chain. Whales eat krill. So do small fish that larger fish depend on. But krill are hard to study. So, researchers focus on penguins. They're easier to track. They return to the same spot each year to lay eggs. If chinstraps aren't doing well, krill probably aren't either. Penguins give us an idea about what is going on in the ocean around us, Forrest says. That doesn't mean counting penguins is easy. Chinstraps nest on rocky slopes to protect their eggs from predators. Sometimes, scientists use binoculars to count the birds from a distance. Other times, the census requires them to brave freezing water in inflatable boats. It's miserable, it's cold, but we love it, Forrest says. We get to go to places where few people have ever set foot. Chinstraps are great climbers, so scientists must be too. And penguins aren't always clean. Their nesting grounds are coated in guano, or droppings, so these places are slippery and smelly. Drone assistance. This year, Forrest's research team got help from robotics engineers from Northeastern University. That's in Boston, Massachusetts. The engineers fly a drone over a colony in order to take pictures. The team will use those photos to record the colony's location and size. It will also use them to teach computers how to recognize penguin nests. One day, computers could count penguins. Counting penguins is important, Forrest says. The more we learn, the more we know about krill and the ocean animals that depend on them. What's happening in the Antarctic is happening everywhere, he says. When we understand it, we can start fixing it.
Okay, and you can see there that it's written by Aaron Baker. Okay, let's look closer now at some of the pictures and read some of the captions. If you look over here, these are some adorable penguins with their chicks, and it says Chinstrap family. Chinstrap penguins are named for the black band that runs around the throat of an adult bird. Look at that. I have to say, it does look like a chin strap. All right, let's move on over to this page. Let's go to the top. All right, so it looks like these friends here are looking up because it says, look up. Two students from Northeastern University fly a drone over a colony of penguins. And this is a great little feature here showing a globe. And at the very bottom of the globe is where Antarctica, or the Earth, is where Antarctica is located. And then these words here that were highlighted are found over here in this little kind of a mini glossary. So the census is an official count of a population. You might have heard the word census quite a bit recently because this year our country is involved in what's called a census. And so we adults have to fill out some paperwork that tell how many people live in our home and give the government some information about who lives in this country, lives in our state and stuff. So um, this is a census for the penguins, and we have a census for us as well. The word peninsula is a noun, and it means a piece of land that sticks out into water. Then we have predator, which is a noun, an animal that kills and eats other animals to survive. So penguins are predators and they're prey. They're prey to other like bigger sea animals like sea lions. But they also eat krill or like shrimp. All right, so if you look closely here, this is a really cool picture it says this is a harsh habitat. Rough, icy waters surround the rocky island where this penguin colony makes its home. It's kind of hard to see. All right, and then I'm going to move it back up here and try to make it a little bit smaller. And this says 1, 2, 3. Noah Stryker of the Penguin Census Team counts chin straps on Snow Island. And there you have it. That is the article we're going to read and focus on today from this edition of Time for Kids.